Yeah, I'll make the next one a little bit later.
All right, welcome race fans to another edition of Sunday Night Skippy Racing. We are joining the action live here, Skippy Formula 2 at Mid-Ohio, the short configuration, 1.67 miles. I'm joined tonight by both Ian and Peter. Gentlemen, how are you doing tonight? And catch us up on what is going on. Let's jump right into the action as Jake Ashe is leading the pack.
Had some really good laps on qualifying. Sorry, go ahead, mate.
Oh, no, yeah. Jake, was qualified first. Chris Daniel qualified P2, Rusty Pontenberg P3, and the three of them have formed a pack here at the end of lap 3, running 1, 2, 3, although it looks like Chris Daniel just managed to pass on Jake.
Yep, it's been good. Rusty's set the fastest lap of the race so far, just to be eclipsed by Dan Gowski this time. But his best lap is 1:19.8, but we've now got down into 1:19.5s. But you can see still everybody's very close together.
Yeah, what happened, what I think happened there, Ian, is the top three were pulling away. They were pulling out a reasonable gap, but then the little side-by-side battling between Chris Daniel and Jake Ashe in P1 and P2, I think has slowed them down a bit and allowed the next three of Alan Paris, Carter Stickney, and Dan Pagasi to catch up. And so it's now, that top group of 6. On lap 2, Alex Othon was in that second group, but he spun on cold tires on the second lap in T1, and so he's running in 8th now, trying to catch up to the pack.
It's a fun little track, this, isn't it? Although, I don't know, some people like it. Oh, someone's diving for the pits.
Yeah, in fact, we have both Chris Daniel and Alan Paris coming in for the first pit stops. So they are out-jaking Jake Ashe here with as early as possible in the pit window, first pit stops.
That is very early for a pit stop. I mean, we're only on lap 5.
Yeah. But I think the pit window opens after 2 laps at this track, and so it is really early. But the window's open.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see if their undercut works.
Yeah.
Because because the undercut could be quite big at this track.
Yeah. It might be a smart move for Chris Daniel because he was probably losing time, battling with Jake Ashe for P1, and they were trading places there and losing time to the rest of the pack. And so this will give him really clear track.
Yeah. Well, it's maybe they'll see how it goes.
Chris, I think this is the first time we've seen someone pit before Jake Ashe in one of these SF2 races this season.
Chris is having a little bit of a problem with his audio right now. He's working to get it sorted out.
Uh-huh.
He says he's hearing himself speak more than once, which I think for Chris, he likes to know that he can talk to himself. But he says that the echo is rather annoying. So is it schizophrenia when you don't like your own voices?
I'm sure there's some psychological term for that.
I think he said he's got some sort of work that he's going on right now that's probably giving me a lot of pressure. And he keeps using this excuse of having children, which I really don't understand. It's like, he's the only person that's ever had kids.
It does seem to be a week for technical difficulties for Cavalcade Racing, network, because Friday night, I was just telling, we've got an incident. Looks like coming back.
Carter?
Carter, yep.
We went off track a little bit.
Yep. Carter.
Pavelski's put himself up into third and has also set the fastest lap of the race of a 1:18.821, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Carter has had to jump to the pits.
Yeah.
So that is really going to hurt him.
Boy, that has huge season championship standings implications there. He'll have work to do to recover from that. And I just, again, to clear for the record, neither you nor I cast any kind of broadcaster's curse there. We were talking about other difficulties.
We were talking about Chris, not about him.
Yep.
And apparently I'm annoying Chris, which I'll stop now.
So anyway, on Friday night, I had a system crash in a GT race on lap 1. And then you had some tech difficulties this week, and now it looks like Chris. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh, we're just taking it in turns. And right now we've got Jake Ashe sitting out there in front with a 2.5 second gap over second place, which is Rusty Pointerberg. Jake has just set himself a purple lap of a 1:18.78.98. So the laps are ticking up a bit quicker. They seem to be getting around a little faster each round.
Yeah. And he has a 20-second lead over Chris Daniel, who is attempting to undercut. So we'll want to watch whether that 20-second gap is growing or shrinking between Jake Ashe and Chris Daniel.
For sure. I wonder what let me have a look and see, put this up for my own information, and then let me look at what that is. So we've got a pit lane time of the fastest was Dan Pogowski. He did a pit lane time of 30.9, and the slowest was Joe Zubovich, who did 33.6. So we'll see. So if we think you're looking at about a 30-ish second pit stop,
yeah,
that will put Chris Daniel firmly back in first place.
That's right. Yeah, and so it will be interesting. It's out of character for Jake to go this long. He's normally in these SF2 races trying to pit early. It makes me wonder. There was some discussion in the Discord ahead of this race, Ian, about whether it was possible to complete this race with one pit stop. And, I haven't done the careful math, but this might be one of those tracks like Interlagos, Brazil, where it is, mathematically, it might be possible if things go right.
And Othon is now in the pits.
Uh-huh.
He's been stopped for 12 seconds. Let's see what his time is in the pit. As Dan Pogowski sets another fastest lap of 1:18.396.
Ian, another discussion on the Discord this week was about the track, which everyone loves, Mid-Ohio, on this service for hot lapping, but a lot of, not complaints exactly, but frustrations about how hard it is to pass or set up passes on this short configuration.
Yeah. You barely sort of get up to the person before you have to turn.
Yeah. And, it's, of course, we're seeing this SF2 field, which is, on the smaller side, get pretty spread out. But then, you wonder if we, in the SF1 race, with 30, 40 cars, what it's going to look like.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think one of the things we need to look out for here is, I'm still watching Jake pounding around.
Yep.
He's not got anybody in front of him, so he's not got any advantage of the draft, so he's not going to be saving any fuel.
Yeah, it's you have to think he'll have to pit twice here. Chris Daniel, I'm just watching the gap. The gap to Chris Daniel now is down to 19 seconds. So Chris Daniel's made up another second in that gap to Jake. Yeah.
But
So Chris Daniel,
Chris stopped on lap 2, so if he has to stop again, and Jake can manage to get through with one stop,
yeah.
Jake's got this.
Yep.
I guess
Yeah.
for those that are listening, the pit stops are not mandatory. It's just that if you don't want to run out of fuel, you probably want to do them. And Jake dives for the pits.
Yep.
And he goes.
And so
He's trundling along at 34 miles an hour, all the way up to his pit box.
meanwhile, Chris Daniel is rounding the turn 11 carousel and coming onto the front straight right now and crossing the start-finish line.
Okay, and Jake is stopped in his pit box. Fuel is going into his car. And Chris Daniel zips past, and Jake is on his way out.
Yep.
He's coming out in third, maybe?
Third, yeah. Well, Rusty Pondenberg and Dan Pagowski are ahead of them, but those two cars have not pitted yet.
Correct.
So
So,
amongst the cars that have made their first pit stops, he's running third now.
yes. So not bad for Jake. Now, if he can eke this out to the end of the race,
Yep.
he'd be in a good shape.
Yeah. Really interesting. And of course, Chris Daniel will have a longer second pit stop because he'll be taking on more fuel, presumably.
Well, no, I mean, his second pit stop would be short, wouldn't it? He doesn't need to put on that much gas. Well, I suppose he might do, yeah, because he's going to be much more empty, isn't he?
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah, very hard to know how this is going to work out.
He's got less of the race to run, so maybe he doesn't need as much fuel to get to the end, if you see what I mean.
Yes. Yeah. So now I'm watching the gap between Chris Daniel and Jake Ashe, and which is at about 7 seconds right now. Chris Daniel's running up ahead. Meanwhile, behind Jake Ashe, Alex Othon, who had that lap 2 spin, he's been making good progress, working his way up. So he's behind Jake Ashe.
Yeah, very smart livery on that car. I think he's looking at a Gulf Oil livery there.
Yeah, classic. And then behind Alex is Joe Zubo, and then our season points leader Carter Stickney, still recovering from that spin. And
yeah, I've got him marked as out for this race.
Yeah, yep.
Now, Joe Zubo, interesting bloke, Have you met Joe before?
Only on Discord.
Only on Discord. I think one of the reasons that he's a bit slow today is he needs a haircut.
Yeah.
I don't know if you see his little graphic of his car, his picture that he's provided us with, but your man has big hair, as they would say.
Oh,
Maybe,
yeah.
He says he's from California, but with the Team El Gato, I'm more suspecting the big hair Texas side of the family there.
Oh, it looks like our P2 person, Rusty Pondenberg, is in the pits now.
Yep, he's in there.
And Chris Daniel, Alan Paris, Jake Ashe are all going by. And looks like Alex Othon is coming out, and it'll be tight here between, but it looks like Alex will get past him.
Yep, he's got past him. And of course, having stopped that way, he's a bit heavier now, he's a bit fuller. Got all that extra gas on board. Whereas the cars in front of him might be a bit lighter, having burnt off, quite a bit of their fuel.
Yeah.
So the only person we've got left to stop now is Dan Pagowski, who's still currently running in first, but he's only got an 11-second interval. So if he was to pit this lap, he would come out, probably just after Jake, coming fourth?
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, probably ahead of Alex. And this is, whereas Jake was a little out of character, not pitting first, Dan Pagowski is, looks like he's in the pits.
He knows, he's in the pits.
Yep. But this is just like Dan. Dan really likes to stretch it out into the very end of his window. Yeah.
So let's see where Dan comes out as.
Chris Daniel's going by.
Daniel passes him. Third, second place passes. Jake passes. Yeah, I think he's going to lose another space or two. He's heading out of the pits, but Rusty and
Alex.
And Alex have really pushed hard. Alex actually just set fastest lap of the race of a 1:18.283, which is also his best lap so far. Actually, 1:18.28 is his been best lap so far of the race. So yeah, Dan's got a bit of work to do now to see if he can get any traction back up into the points playing positions.
You know, Ian, isn't it amazing? It always amazes me in the Skippy Formula 2 race format with these fuel restrictions, just how much pit strategy can scramble things up. It just really, it just amazes me. It makes these SF2 races so interesting.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice. I mean, I when we first started talking about bringing pit stops into our league, I was a huge, and still am, huge proponent for it, as Chris Daniel just sets the fastest lap of the race in 1:18.159. Might be down to 1:17 soon if we're not careful. I was a huge proponent of it because I really felt that it brought just a little something else, you know, not just how fast can I push my car around the track, but I got to think about it too, you know.
Yep. It taught me a lot. I mean, the training on managing pit stops and fuel strategy and, you know, controlling fueling and so on. It taught me a lot. There were some painful lessons there because I lost races or I lost podium positions from doing it wrong, and so it really forces you to learn.
Yeah. It makes you, you know, it gives. I think it adds, as you said, an element of excitement into the whole thing. I'm watching Rusty actually catching the back of Alex off on slowly but surely, where we tick down to 20 minutes elapsed, 15 minutes of the race left to go.
It's like Dan Pogowski's also.
Pogowski's back in the pits. He is in pit lane.
No, that's Chris Daniel.
And Dave Cachet's in pit lane.
Yes, and Alan Paris. So they're all in their second stops.
And someone else is Othon
Yes.
has also gone into pit lane, which just leaves.
So what? Rusty Pondenberg, Dan Pogowski, and Joe Zubo.
Nice. As Dan Pogowski comes out, and he's right behind Rusty Pondenberg. So now the question is, does Rusty have enough to get him to the end of the race? As you see all of the others all come out one after the other, and the gaps between everybody are much, much, much tighter.
So now of the cars that presumably have for sure enough fuel to get to the end, Chris Daniel running P3 is in the lead, and then Jake Cachet and Alan Paris behind them. But our actual on-track leader right now, but with only one stop, is Rusty Pondenberg, and he's being tailed and pressured by Dan Pogowski.
Yeah, and if Dan could just get that interval down just a little bit, that's going to mean he's going to be able to fuel save. All right, there you go. It's under a second now, so he's now going to be in Rusty's draft, so such that it is. But it could be enough that he can just back off the throttle a wee bit, fuel save, and that will eke out his gas, and maybe he can do it on a one-stop. Going to be interesting.
Yep.
It's going to be a bit of a knuckle biter, and it really is a matter now of whose math is better. Zubovic is now in the pits.
I wouldn't mind seeing Dan Pogowski finish one of these SF2 races on the podium on one stop, because he's definitely tried this more than once, and has I think sputtered and run out of fuel on the last lap both times that I can remember.
Yeah, I remember the famous one, which was at Interlagos.
Yes.
Where I went from a lap down and in the doldrums to finishing on the podium because everybody ran out of gas.
And I won that race because of that.
That was so much fun, that race.
Yeah, it was fun. I don't know if either of us earned that those podium positions, but we'll take it.
Hey, you know what they say? A podium's a podium.
Yep.
Okay, how you get it? It's always good. So now, here you go. Now Dan is much, much quicker, it would seem. Yeah, he's running about a second faster than Rusty per lap, pretty regularly. And that gap is tiny now. So now the question is this: what does Dan do? Does he just try and hold on behind Rusty, use him to punch a hole in the air and let him eke out that gas a bit longer? Does he go to pass him? These are all the decisions he's got to make right now.
Yeah. Yep. The other interesting thing is the gap from Dan back to Chris Daniel running in P3 is slowly stretching out a little bit. They're now about 8.5 seconds up on Chris, and so this is really good right now, especially if Dan is able to finish without another pit stop.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. Well, Dan's had 2 pit stops, so it looks to me like if he can just keep that position, he's either going to finish P3 or P1, depending on what the two in front of him do.
I'm showing Daniel has only had 1 pit stop. I think that there's a mix-up between Daniel Pogowski and Christopher Daniel.
Chris Daniels. Yeah, Chris Daniels in P3. So he'll either get a P3 or first.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so he's in pretty good shape. Jake Ashe can just see Dan up in the just see Chris up in the distance.
Is now in the pits, so Dan Pogowski is now our race leader.
Okay, so let's see what happens now. So Rusty's probably he just needs a splash and dash. He's not gonna need a lot of gas. Whereas he's not in pit exit yet. Okay, he's down in 5th now. 27 seconds in the pits.
Alex Albon is coming by.
I think he'll come out. Oh no, he's going to come out in 6th.
Yep.
He's at pit exit. He's now heading back out onto the track. So now the question is, can Podolsky make it to the end without stopping again?
Right.
Because you know that he's going to lose at least 30 seconds at an absolute minimum.
Yes.
And that will put him 6, 10. That will put him in 7th.
Yeah. So he's completing 6 laps on his current fuel stint. And there's 9.5 minutes remaining. Boy, it doesn't seem possible.
The math is not in my head not working too terribly well.
No.
But you never know.
Yep.
Maybe his water bottle's full of petrol. These cars don't take a lot of fuel. I mean, they're only running, 2.4 liters? 2.4 gallons, sorry?
Something, I don't know what the gallon limit is here. It might just be 1.9 gallons.
Yeah. So, So here we go right now.
Chris Daniel is actually stretching out his lead over Jake Ashe. He's now over 4 seconds ahead of Jake.
Yeah.
And Alan Paris is flying more pressure. Yep.
On Jake. Alan is now only sort of 0.9 seconds. He's less than a second behind Jake, and looking to see if he can work his way past him.
Joe has spun in turn 2.
Joe Zubovich.
Yeah, but no contact, so it looks like he's back on track.
Good.
Yep.
And Alan Paris is clawing his way up onto the back of Jake Ashe, and I have a feeling that in another 3 or 4 laps, maybe less than that, he will be pushing to see if he can get by him, as the gap grows ever smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Good fun racing.
Yeah. One thing that Chris and I ask each other all the time, Ian, is would you rather be in this situation, Jake or Alan? You want to be the guy in front or the chaser?
Alan, probably, because, well, I don't know. He's had his 2 stops. He should be okay for fuel through the end.
Yeah.
So I think Jake, because he's also had his 2 stops. All you got to do is make that car really fat.
Yep. And
You
this is
know?
already a track. So the big chatter, this week on the league Discord was just how frustratingly hard it is to find a place to pass someone on this track. And
Yeah.
so,
Well, there's not very many heavy braking zones,
yeah.
and there's not very many, and the straights aren't long enough, and so you've got sort of medium speed corners most of the way around. Some slow speed corners, but the slow speed corners come after you've had to slow down, so
Yep.
they're not really a hard braking zone. They're just a, lift and coast type deal.
Yeah.
And that makes it terribly difficult to get by as they tick off yet another lap and we move to 28 and a half minutes elapsed. I really should be also looking a little bit at the Twitch stream to see what we're actually being shown on the screen, because I'm not watching that at all. So apologies to anybody who might be typing anything. I have no idea what you're doing. All right,
There is on the Twitch stream, people talking about Carter, getting knocked out of the race, and the championship season standings implications there, which are big. Pim Luth is pointing out that Carter is only 11 points ahead of Jake Ashe in the season standings, and so if Jake manages a podium here, it's going to really shake things up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, where's Pim? Pim's not racing today in this, is he?
No. Nope.
No. Okay. So why isn't he in the broadcast booth? I don't understand.
Is he in violation of his Cav-OK contract?
Flip him while it is.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look. All right, I'm in the chat room now. I don't see any chit-chat. All right, there we go. Okay, so back to the task at hand, as they say.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on this gap between Chris Daniel and Jake Ashe, and Chris is now 5 seconds up on Jake. So, basically, a couple tenths of a second each lap, Chris is stretching out his lead. Of course, Dan Pogowski is still another 5 seconds ahead of Chris Daniel, but the big question is whether Dan Pogowski has enough fuel to make it to the end. There's 4 and a half remaining.
It's gonna be interesting. I mean, he had a 36.4 second pit stop, and Joe Zubo has crashed. He went off track, came back on again. I think probably okay. Seems to be keeping going. Is Dan gonna make it to the end? I mean, as I can say, his pit stop was a 36.4. The slowest was Rusty's of a 37.5.
Yep.
How much fuel could he have put on board? Is Chris Daniel sitting in there sitting there in his car, virtually rubbing his hands together, going, "Got this, baby, got this," because he's going to run out of gas.
Yeah.
But now they're coming up on the back of a back marker. So is that Joe up there, and they're just ahead of them? So if we get onto the back of the back marker, and Dan can make it work, as he loses it a little bit on that corner and goes a little bit wide, massive oversteer there. But if you can get on the back of that back marker, he could then start saving fuel by using the back marker as his hole punch.
Yeah, the big the battle on the track right now is between Jake Ashe and Alan Paris.
As Chris goes very wide over into the grass.
Yeah, that was close.
Well, I have found that the model, the model that they're using is much better now. Remember back in season 1, if you did that, that was it. You couldn't save the car. There's nothing you could do. You just slam over into the side of the road. Whereas at least now, the cars seem to have a bit more realistic traction on these, off-track surfaces, and you can work to not run into the barriers or save the car.
Yeah, it almost feels like the car will slide sideways a little bit more instead of spinning. Just, gives you a little bit of a better chance. I don't know, if they changed the actual physics or if it's all in the tire model.
All right, as the laps tick down, we're now at 33 minutes elapsed. Only 2 more minutes to go.
Wow.
Dan, hold on. For another 2 minutes. It's another,
Just
what,
doing
3
the math
possible
in my
laps?
head, I think this next time around will be the white flag, I
Oh my
believe.
goodness.
It's going to be cutting it really close. Let's see. It's down to 134. Daniel will almost want to slow down here
Yeah.
to avoid an extra lap.
Is he going to get it?
No, it's not the
Oh.
white flag. He went past too fast.
And Dan and
Two more laps.
Daniels just set a fastest lap of the race, a 1:18.114. So Dan Pogowski is being chased by Chris Daniels, and Chris is not giving up at all.
Yep. In fact, Dan, probably could have made this white flag lap if he had slowed down 2 or 3 seconds, but he couldn't afford to do that because Chris Daniels only 2.5 seconds behind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could have dropped it, just a humph.
Yeah.
Maybe enough to force it into to the white flag. And maybe you could explain to the folks that are listening to us what we're talking about.
Yes. So this is a timed race, meaning it's 35-minute race. But of course, everyone you win the race by crossing the start-finish line. So, if you cross the start-finish line, say with 34 minutes and 59 seconds, having elapsed, everyone still has to finish that last lap.
Congratulations to all. I think that was quite a lot of fun to call that race.
It was, yeah. I think Daniel really gave us a lot of suspense there and drama. Great solid drive by Chris Daniel. Really masterful undercut there. Yeah, he sort of out-jaked Jake Ashe with the undercut.
Yes, absolutely, he sure did. Hey, Chris, have you got your headsets and radios and microphones and other accoutrements sorted out?
I think we may have it figured out.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I of course I was trying to troubleshoot right at the wrong time. We lost your guys' audio for just a little bit, but I think the race had been decided by that point, so I don't feel too bad. But yeah, man, oh my gosh, what a race to have your microphone muted. You could see Dan Pogowski, like trying his best to just preserve and just barely missing that white flag lap time to your guys' point, and he would have had it. He would have nailed it. And then, of course, he's got to come in and fuel, and then add insult to injury on top of that with the spin. And oh my gosh, what a exciting fuel strategy race there. Dan Pegowski making it interesting once again. And yeah, that's he's pretty dang good at that. I'll say that he always likes to keep it keep us on the edge of our seats with his the 71 and the 4 car there, having a little fun with each other. But yeah, all's well and good.
I used to battle Dan so hard when we were both running SF2 together. But I am now like cheering him on. I want him to finish one of these one-stop races and win it. It's he keeps trying it, so good on him that he keeps trying it, and it almost worked out this time.
And it's so easy on us to say like, if you just would have slowed up a little bit, but you don't. I mean, you don't know that. You can't. How do you calculate that in your head that I can give up this amount of seconds and then push it? So. I feel for him, man. He shot his shot, as Michael Scott would say. Per Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So, shooters take their shot, and this time it just did not work out for Dan Pegowski. But congratulations. Let's not take away from here. I'm sorry. Let's not take away from Chris Daniel tonight, who executed very well, perfectly. Did his pit stops. I guess was just able to pull out another 5 seconds there, nearly 5 seconds on Jake Ashe, who is a fantastic pit strategist in his own right. So a real great race there from Chris Daniel to take home the victory. Jake Ashe in second, and Alan Paris, who is really pressuring Jake. Jake not giving him, an inch. And, we talk about Jake Ashe with, maybe some off tracks and mental mistakes, but no, Jake held strong and was able to hold off a charging Alan Paris there for that second position, but Alan's still able to bring home the podium spot. Alex Othon, Rusty Pottenberg, Joe Zubovich, and Dan Pegowski is going to finish out your field there with Carter Stickney exiting early. And as we brought up earlier, this is going to shake up that championship standings because both Alan Paris and Jake Ashe were 11 points behind your leader Carter Stickney. So suddenly this championship contention has become very, very close.
Yeah, it's so tight now. I think it'll be interesting to see how the points come out, but that's going to be a 1-2-3 battle that is just really tight. Formula One has, Max and Lewis have nothing on this.
Right. Yeah, we're putting Formula we're putting Formula One to shame, and we're happy to do it. This is a great result. I really hate that my microphone wasn't working, and I apologize for the loss of voice there for just a little bit as I was trying to change things up to get it working again. But either way, I know we got to let you go, Peter, because you've got a race coming up. Any final thoughts from you? Anything that you took away from this race that you're going to take with you into the Skip Your Formula One race?
Well, I think I love this track. It's just so fun to drive, but I think it's going to be such a tough race. With a bigger field, I think so hard to pass. I'm hoping if I can just finish where I qualify, that'll be a pretty good result. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, I have a question for you, mate. 1 or 2?
How about 20 or 25?
Oh dear me! Is it a 40-minute or a 45-minute race?
45 minutes tonight.
So it's a 45-minute race, so it should be 2 stops.
Yes.
So you're going to try going for 1?
No.
Channel your inner Pegowski.
Yeah.
Sound like he's going
than
to,
this
though.
one, but
That's fine.
there's so many cars on track, you're going to have a lot more opportunity for drafting.
Yes, that's true. Yep. So
the
first few laps will be pretty slow.
We won't peer pressure him into making any heroic moves, but we will be tracking it, and we will celebrate it if we see any. Either way,
Absolutely.
good luck. Good luck tonight, Peter, and we will see you on the flip side. Ian, you and I will be actually now talking together, and now that it looks like I've got everything up and working, so we're going to take a quick break and transition over to the Skipper Formula One session. Stay tuned. About 20 minutes from now, I would guess, 20 minutes or so. So about 9-10 p.m. Eastern. Tune back in. We'll put up the timer like we always do. We will see you then. And congratulations once again to the Skippy Formula 2 drivers for putting on a hell of a show and really setting the bar for Skippy Formula 1 as they do every single week. We will see you guys in about 20 minutes. And yeah, see you then.
Take care, guys.
Welcome back, race fans. We are getting ready here to grid up for the Skippy Formula 1 race after a very exciting fuel strategy intensive Skippy Formula 2 race at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. This is the short configuration here, 1.67 miles, where we basically cut off the hairpin there. We are ready to go. Peter is not joining us in the booth. Instead, it's just going to be Ian and I. Ian, how are you after that Skippy Formula 2 race, and what are you looking forward to in the Skippy Formula 1 race, where we have 36 drivers ready to take the green flag?
Well, hey Chris, good to be back again in the broadcast booth. I mean, that many drivers on this tiny track. It's only 1.9 miles long, I think it is. Not even quite 2 miler, if I got it right. So it's going to be short. There's going to be lots of passing and overtaking as we go through this race. I think that it's going to be tight, and I think smart pit strategy is going to make a difference, as we could see from the Formula 2 race.
Yeah, as Brandon's pointing out here, it's a heck of a field, 36 drivers that are going to start the race tonight. Mike Bowers on the pole. Congratulations to Mike. And Adam Wright showing some speed as of, I say as of late, but really he's been coming on strong here for just about a season's worth of races, heading back to last season. So No surprise to see him up there with Chris Herrera, Kyle Reed, joining them on the front two rows. And I'm done being shocked by drivers in where they're qualifying, because it's at this point everything is so competitive, and it just depends on who's putting in the work, week in, week out. Sometimes you can, with real life work, family, whatever it is, sometimes you can put in more work, sometimes you can't. And I feel like that's the big decider in where people are able to grid and end up ultimately finishing, because this field is just so dang close, so dang competitive. I don't know, man. I don't know what the secret formula is anymore for these guys. I think back to season 1, season 2, when we even started doing the broadcasts, and first of all, the grid has grown by threefold, if not fourfold, and boy, you just look at all these drivers and you just know that any single one of them has a chance on any given Sunday to come out and show up and do what's needed to be done to finish out on front on the podium.
Yeah, and they're starting to grid up now, Chris. All 36 cars.
It's gonna be crazy.
Up,
so there's
insane.
There's Mike and Adam there by the flag stand, and all the way back here, all the way back in the carousel, is Carrington Wilmer and Edwin Viorino starting in the back. So that is quite the gap.
It certainly is, and it's going to be really interesting to see. And the lights are on. And here we get ready, and the lights are ticking down, and we're off. Green flag, we're racing. Let's see if they we've talked about this so many times, cold tires on that first lap, right?
Yeah, and so once again, we raced Mid-Ohio before, but we did the full course. You'll notice here, we're going to see Mike take a right-hand turn with those cones, so we're not going all the way down into that horseshoe bend that you would normally expect to see. We're just cutting off that entire area there. You can see all these cars. We're going 2, 3 wide back here. Gonna get real dicey early, but after that, the rest of the course is as is.
Yeah, and already we're seeing a lot of passing going on in the back of the pack, while everybody looks to be fairly clean so far through all the corners. But there's been a lot of passing. So Decker's come up a place. Let's see, Jay Snevely's come up a place. Kyle's lost 2. Who's our hard charger so far? We've got a whole bunch of guys that have moved up one place, and Ben Harris unfortunately has dropped back 13 spots on the start. Not sure what happened to him, but yeah, something must have happened to him to make him drop back that far. Wilmer Carrington, he's moved up 10 places. Oh no, nice drop one. So yeah, sorry, my numbers keep changing.
Yeah, it's obviously interesting early on. Gherkin Demir in, Michael McLeod in. I believe these guys are serving penalties, so keep your eye out for those guys and how they manage that. Adam Wright still in second place there. Team Bell's checking in. Scott not having the greatest couple races, if I remember correctly. Just a combination of bad luck, wrong spot, wrong time. So we're definitely rooting for Scott, who is currently in 8th place back here, up 1 spot total. And hopefully he can gain another 5 or so and end up on that podium tonight. Would be well deserved. Well
earned. First place. How did he get there? I got Thomas Fotis in first, Scott Bell in second, and Jonathan Dockery in third. Followed by Pete McBroughton. Is that what you're seeing?
I still got Mike Bowers out front.
Weird.
Right in Herrera.
Where is Bowers? I think my timing must have gone bonkers.
Yeah, I don't know. Photos is still back in 7th though. He's
Yep,
up 1 spot.
My timing, as it crossed the line, my timing's come back, and it looks like we're back in play. Bowers, Wright, Herrera, Decker, Snavely, Reed, Photos, Bell, Dockery, Pete McBroughton's top 10.
So after serving the penalties, Gherkin Demir is in 26th, Michael McLeod in 17th, and not 17th. He's further back. 32nd. There we go. He's down 70 spots in 32nd. So those guys have their work cut out for them, but penalty served and moving on. Andy Au went off track. I want to see if maybe we can see what happened there. That's Aaron Law went off track. Not Andy Au. Whatever. Here we go. We're back up here. Mike Bauer still leading the way. Kyle Reed currently with the hot lap of the evening with a 1:18:32, and I mean, all in all, still pretty quiet.
You'd say, as Snavely sets the fastest lap of the race of a 1:17.942, which is pretty darn quick for the lap 4, but the tires should be getting up to temperature now, so starting to turn a bit more like a railway and allowing you to get some grip. I think we were talking a lot in the previous race, in the SF2 race, about how hard it is to pass on this track.
Yeah, and that's been the discussion through the Discord pretty much the entire week of, where do you even attempt to make the passes. I don't know that I got an answer for that. I feel like we saw a good amount of passing in SF2, although, grid size is what they are. When you've got 36 cars on the grid, things get a little more crowded.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of passing of back markers as the race progresses, and the front runners are running, if they're running in the low 118s, almost in the 117s, and the back guys are running in the 118s, almost 119s. So that's a 2-second difference per lap. They will soon be mixed up with them again in the back of the pack. So it's going to get real interesting when that happens. Because again, where do you get out of the way? I mean, there's not that many places on this track, because we've got all of these, they're all sort of slow speed, medium speed corners, but so many of them are off camber, blind, or unsighted in other ways, that trying to get out of someone's way is going to be really hard.
Yeah, it's not like a high downforce, high horsepower car where you can just throttle down and get around somebody. These, the passing physics strategy, if you will, and the Skippy is just a little bit different. And we can see we got a Michael Hownick fan in the house there. and we're right along board. You can see just how difficult it is. Michael Hounek, a very fast driver, and you can see there's just no real great braking zones or drafting zones, which is normally where you would see Skippy's passing. So these guys really got to pick their spots, and I think at the end of the day, like we were talking about earlier, fuel strategy is going to come into play just in a very big way, because those are you got to find ways to separate yourselves to find those opportunities, because they're not really going to be super obvious on the track. These are all very competitive drivers, so good luck.
We've got Scott Bell working hard on the back of Thomas Fotos. Very small gap between. Scott's been maintaining that and is pushing Thomas hard, looking for a way past him. And Jonathan Dockery is watching with great interest those guys ahead of him to see if they make a little mistake. They're getting closer and closer, and I think that Scott's going to see if he can find either a way to push Tom Fotos into making a mistake and give him the opportunity. You can see Jonathan's coming out of some of those corners, and he really does have a lot of pace as he comes out of the corners. He's driving up towards Scott, who's again inching ever closer. And again, Jonathan sticks his nose in, saying, hey guys, look, don't forget about me behind here. It's going to be interesting as they come around the penultimate corner onto the start-finish straight. And again, it's just, you can see how hard it's going to be, because there's no point where you really can get a good draft on the person in front of you and allow you to pull up. It's all going to be about, car positioning. And Jonathan again driving up on it. It looks to me very much like Thomas is holding everybody up as Jonathan and Pete McBrodden go too wide through the corner onto that back straight. It does seem like Tom Fotos is holding everybody up at this point. He's just a little bit slower than the cars behind him. And I think that as soon as everybody gets past him, they'll release and they'll start catching up with that pack in front of them again.
Well, this is some close racing here between Pete McBride and Jonathan Dockery. Pete, desperate times call for desperate measures here. And I think just about everybody's feeling it, trying to take advantage where they can. So Pete's going to work his way back up to Scott Bell's gearbox and see if they can't maybe work their way past Thomas Fotos. And
Pete's got past Jonathan, and now Jonathan's being pressured by Hounek.
And those are some tense corners there as you go through the S's. That's some side-by-side racing where even a little slip-up can
Howenek's looking to see if he can do the inside move on Jonathan. Jonathan closes the door on him, leaves a bit of space, which was very nice of him. He could have closed it a bit more if he wanted to, and I think with no issues there, but left a bit of room. Hounek didn't quite have the pace off the corner to be able to get his nose in far enough to put on a pass there, but still we've got Thomas Fotos leading, Scott Bell, Pete McBride, Jonathan Dockery and Hounek in this little train, as being joined now by Peter Nodwell as well, just to make things a little bit more exciting. And Dancy is behind there as well. So it's going to be, and I can never say this guy's name, Matt
Shepka.
Pepka.
Shepka.
Oh, Shepka.
Yeah. Let it roll off the tongue.
Shepka. Okay, my bad. Well, I'm glad I can say that right now.
Yeah,
I'm sure Scott wants to get around Fotos and try to catch the front. I'm sure he does, mate. But it's being sure that he wants to do it, and him wanting to do it doesn't mean he's going to get it done, because this track just punishes you when you try and pass. It's insanity. As I see Pete McBrodden's right up there now with
Scott and Tom. Yeah,
Tom.
You can tell. I mean, just check out the track map there. You can see Bowers, and then and then a bit of a gap there behind. Let's see, who's that? Kyle Reed. And Thomas Photos in this group here with Scott Bell, Pete McBride, Jonathan, the aforementioned drivers there. And then just a little bit of a gap, but there's still not a ton of separation here to be had. And, you can see Pete and Scott there really just starting to maybe the moves are going to be starting to be made here on Thomas Photos. But Thomas still just kind of holding his own over there. And
Cloud's in the pit. Going to see if he can do a bit of an undercut, maybe. And I must say, I got to do a shout out here to Kyle Reed for having probably the most colourful car on the track today.
Yeah, he and Chris Herrera really are in a battle for the most fantastic looking cars there. Although their fantastic looking cars are throughout the field, so I guess it all just depends on your personal aesthetic. But yeah, these guys definitely have very, very colorful cars. They kind of look like I think Chris Herrera's car looks like my cleats in high school track. I had half and half. I think mine was more purple and fluorescent yellow, but
good Lord.
Very much
Good
reminds
Lord.
me of that. Yeah, it had to
You
be very
obviously
loud.
tasted the rainbow and then you felt the rainbow.
Wanted to be seen and heard. Look at this, JR Hoops. Oh boy, Carl Dronke, Benjamin Harris here. This battle for 16th place is really heating up. They all had to kind of back out there.
And you should see Adam Wright is all over the back of Bowers, and Herrera is all over the back of Adam Wright as they come across the start-finish line. They are so close to each other now. It is crazy as they're all in the 1:17.5s per lap. Adam gets a little squirrely coming off the curb into the hairpin at the top. Wow, they are close together. Team running on empty has got the advantage of the two cars in front of him pumping that hole in the air for him to skate through, maybe allowing him to save a little fuel.
Whoa!
But what happened?
These guys, I don't know how these guys do it. That's all I'm saying. Man, that was a little over-under action there between Adam Wright and Mike Bowers, taking slightly different lines through the S's as they work their way through Thunder Valley here. We're going to ride along board with Jeff Snavely, and he's got a front row view to this battle for the top five.
Yeah, I think if he had better, I think he needs some attention from some of the guys who are doing the cars, because if his car was more colourful, he might be a little further up the field. That's all I can say.
Well, another battle that's going really well here. Look at Jeff Torback we're going to rely on board with. Look at this, JR Hoops, Aaron Law, Benjamin Harris. Carl Dronke made his way past all of these guys here in the last lap or two, and these guys keeping it super close here. But battle for 17th position is going to be a very tight one on this 45-minute race to pit stop strategy, and still right now only I guess Peter Lee, I don't think he was serving a penalty, so he pit already with the undercut, but other than that everybody else is kind of staying out for the time being.
So far.
Well, I know we have not given Cam a shout out. I tried to, when I saw the comment, I tried to focus on Rusty there for a bit, but we'll give Rusty Pondberg some love because we got some Team Rusty fans in the house, and we always, it's a fan favorite, the paint scheme, and we love what he does there in Skippy Formula 2. Had a pretty good strategy going, just wasn't able to quite make it work. And right now he's up 4 spots overall and having a pretty good SF1 race. Hopefully that SF2 lessons learned there, he can apply those and gain a couple more spots here before all said and done.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's a longer race than the previous one, so your strategy is going to have to be definitely a bit different. I can't see them doing this on one on a one-stop strategy. Not unless I don't know, there's some severe magic going on.
I'll tell you who agrees with you. Some of these guys, Michael Howanick, Jonathan Dockery, Dan Pagowski, who tried the one stop earlier. He is in pit road already. I think he had a good strategy. I wish he would have tried it again, but I can understand why he wouldn't want to. But all those guys down pit road so far with one stop. So we will bring up the pit stops there just because these are regularly scheduled pit strategy stops that we're bringing that are beginning. So these guys are the first, and we'll just keep that up to track where everybody pits and how many folks have to come back in. But yeah, if it's Pete LeBron, Thomas Photos, Peter Nodwall, all coming in. So here we go.
Yeah, it starts, and I can see that our Peter Lee is up 10 spots, up a few spots now, up 2 spots, I think.
Yeah, so he pit a bit earlier, even on lap 10. We're on lap 14 now, so with the undercut. And Jake Ashe should join us in the booth. But if he doesn't want to, I understand. Yeah, the brain, the body said no more. Get it. This looks like a tough course. This looks like a very physically intensive course.
It's hard, it's not just the muscling the car around the track, but it's the concentration that does you in as well. I mean, on a course like this, you are always doing something with the car, which sounds kind of dumb, but until you're in one of these race cars trying to compete, you don't realize how much concentration it takes and how exhausting that is over the course of a race.
Yeah, I think doing the iRacing thing is, I've always had huge respect for drivers. 100%, obviously. I love the sport. I love all the different disciplines, but even just minimally doing the my force feedback wheel on some of these courses, and you just gain an appreciation for how much concentration and stamina it takes to lap in, lap out, hit your marks, not make a mistake. And this is just definitely one of those leagues where you can't especially with 36 cars on the grid, man. You can't afford to not hit your mark, because somebody's going to take advantage of it. Somebody else has put in the lap, somebody else has put in the effort, somebody else has put in the practice, and they're going to eat you alive. So yeah,
Reed is getting close at the back of Snavely, so we'll see what's happening, but that front pack is still just hanging together. Where's Scott gone? Yeah, he's a little bit back now.
Well, all of the leaders. Whoa! Look at that! Holy cow! All of the leaders coming in, fanning out,
together.
really
now it's
trying to push.
Out again.
You can just tell. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. Pit road is so key. That's why they were fighting so hard to get onto pit road and gain any little position, because it's so hard to pass on the track, especially with these guys who are so competitive. So if you can gain a 2/10 on pit road, that's going to be the difference for you.
Decker's moving. He's already moving. He's going to grab 3 or 4 places there, coming out in second position behind Mike Bowers, jumping Chris Herrera. Wow, look at that. Decker had a 3.6 second stop, a full second shorter than Herrera, and came from the back and moved his way back up, and he's now running in second place, up 3 places. So said, so done by you, right, Chris?
Yeah, I just had pit time up, but let's bring pit lane time up, because this is the holistic view. We like pit time because that kind of gives you a sense of how much people fueled up, but pit lane time is where you're gonna kind of be made or broken. You can see Decker with 36.7, which is, just he's the only guy to break 37 seconds there until you get back to Dancy. And so yeah, I mean, just really well executed. Let's look at pit time there though to see Yeah, 14.4 for Decker. I mean, he's got a bit less fuel than everybody else. Dancy's with a 12.9. Dancy with a lot less fuel than everybody else. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that's all going to play out. So Dancy's clearly going to be one of the guys who's going to be looking at taking an earlier pit stop than everybody else for the second
And again,
one.
that could be to his advantage, right?
Right.
Because, he needs a little less fuel.
Right.
And he can do a splash and dash and see if he can pick up an extra couple of places on the second stop.
So there you go. This is how it's playing out. Everybody, see, Andy Au, Jake Ashe both out for the moment at least, and everybody else still on. You can see the gap there, and the race for the top 4 remains close. They've got a little bit of a gap to Kyle Reed there, 1.8 seconds, but Kyle Reed and Jeff Snavely there hooked up and trying to work their way back up to that lead group and making it a battle for 6th place overall. A little bit further back.
Behind him, McBroughton, Dancy, and Nodwell.
So that's surprising. So Pete is the pit stop extraordinaire there, and his pit time did not look that vastly different. He is up 4 spots. Maybe he just started further back than I imagined, but I was not expecting him to come out that much further back. But that being said, starting out 11th and working your way up to 7th, I guess he's doing all right for the time being.
Yeah, but look at the packs that are forming and coming behind them. I see that Max de Guacamo, Thomas Fotos, Scott Bell, and Howanak, they are racing hard going into the corner 2 wide as Thomas Fotos passes Scott Bell.
Yeah, look at that.
Gutsy move there.
Look at that. Scott touches the grass. Man, what a save. What a save. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself for that, but...
Yeah, because he's let Max de Guacamo by him.
Yeah, Max is gone, but he's going to save that, and he's still got those guys in sight and contact. Oh, man, you hate those little mistakes, but still, what a save by Scott Bell, saving the day so far.
Yeah, well, that's the concentration thing. Is they see Pete and Dancy and Nodwell cross the line, and they're not that far back off of Snavely, who they're working on. They're about 6 seconds adrift at the moment, and if they can claw that back, we're only in 24 of 45, 24 minutes of 45 minutes to go. They still have a little bit of time, as I see Kyle Reed and
yeah, I'm curious what these guys are up to, because you would think they're just taking wildly different lines to the S's there, and you would think that they would want to work together, but I just don't know that. Maybe they just have different lines. Maybe
I don't know. I mean, you really. The only way for the two of them to catch back up to that front pack is to work together.
Yeah.
The front pack is working together. They're not fighting at all. They've just sat in position and they're just driving to keep a gap. They're going to wait to the last lap or two to fight. But again, this track is so hard, right? I wouldn't do that. I would be like, okay, let me see how I can do my pit strategy to see if I can jump another place or two. And I'm not going to work with these guys because the reality is, it's so hard to pass. I can't afford to wait until there's 2 laps left and then try and draft past them, because you can't do that on this track.
Yeah.
You need a different strategy. You're going to have to go into some of these corners 2 wide, as we see Kyle Reed and Snavely doing exactly that. Kyle's just cut Snavely off to shut the door on him. But again, they're fighting each other, and that'll be slowing them down, which I'm sure Pete McBride would be rubbing his hands together.
I'm not sure I just don't know what the strategy is here. Like, unless they're, I mean, we're past halfway, I guess. maybe Snavely just thinks he's faster than Kyle and wants to get past to work his way up. So
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. It very well could be.
Well, the gap between Kyle and the front runner pack is about 2.8 seconds, so nearly 3 seconds. So he's got some work to do.
Yeah, certainly. And let's bring up lap times. Nope. Let's go the other way with that lap time history. There we go. Yeah, I mean, so they're losing ground over the past 4 laps, so maybe Snavely does think he's a little bit faster than Kyle there and wants to get past. That could be it. That's the only thing that makes this make sense for me, so we'll roll with that. We've got, looks like Andy out. Could be, but I recognize the screaming bear icon there, but Michael McLeod.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. There's Michael, there's Steve Dewar, there's Gurkhan Demir, there's Edwin Valerino, unusually, way back in 18th position, and Jeff Torbeck, JR Hoops, and Bofil. I know, well, JR Hoops further back, but all sort of battling for those midfield positions. Looks like they go too wide, and Steve takes the position from McLeod.
He's backing off a little bit there. I'm not sure what the heck.
Yeah, I think he had a bit of an off, and they come right up on the back of Jonathan Dockery.
Is he trying?
Who's
Pit road. There we go. That's what it is. He's trying to get to pit road. Yeah. Andy broke his car, which we don't like to see. But glad you could join us there, Michael McLeod. Up to your point, up 4 spots there to 19th after a pass through. Oh, slight mistake there though. Oh boy, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It looks like he's just gonna. That's an unfortunate turn of events there for Michael McLeod working his way back up through the field. May have overshot the pit stall just a little bit with his easy up, but Mike Bauer still leading the race. Jeffrey Decker, Chris Herrera, Adam Wright. This is the there's 3 podium positions, 4 drivers right now, kind of in contention to battle for them. A little bit further back, 3.61 seconds is now the gap back to Kyle Reed and Jeff Snavely. So, yep, that gap is expanding like we saw on the differential times on the lap times. Jonathan Dockery is down 7 spots right now, and he is leading this pack of Steve Dewar, Gurkhan Demir, Edwin Viorino.
As he dives into the pits.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, man, what a move.
He gets tagged.
Gurkhan Demir really being aggressive there with a pit entry, but is going to be what it takes. We saw that earlier with the leaders. It's just, they're going to look for tenths of seconds. That's what this race is going to come down to, tenths of seconds on pit road, because you can see track position means pretty much everything for whatever battle you're in, whether it's for the podium, whether it's for 20th place. You gotta make your bones there on pit road.
Well, I can say that we're down into the 1:16s. The fastest lap now set by Chris Herrera, running in 3rd of a 1:16.99, which is quite incredible. And we've got a hard charger. Am I right in saying that Christian Wilmer is up 23 places?
Oh, dang.
25 places, maybe? As he's fighting with Rusty Puttenberg?
I have him up 11 spots, but either way, the PBR 930 machine there having a really great night so far. Looking to catch up to Klingman. Right now, I'm showing Edwin Viorino up 22 spots. Personally, as mine. I don't know if my overlay is right there, but
I got the same thing.
Edwin, obviously, very fast driver. That's an understatement. He's picking his way through the field here and doing his best up to 14th position now. Although, once again, we've got pit stop strategy playing a part of this. This is all going to have to cycle through, so we'll bring up the number of pit stops there as a nice, easy way to visualize. Michael Howinek, currently your leader of 2 pit stops. He's 35 seconds down. So, Mike Bowers in. He is the lone leader. That's going to leave Chris Herrera and Adam Wright out. 2.
This is his second stop. Where is he going to come out?
Pimo Braun also in, by the way.
Aha. So this is Pete's second stop?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's see. As Pete's heading out now, and Mike Bowers is just ahead of him. So this is going to be interesting. So Mike is now, let's see, about 23 seconds behind Chris Herrera with a pit stop time of around 30 seconds, which puts him back in first.
Yeah.
Which would put Pete in second.
Yeah,
sorry, Carl.
It's an amazing. So Pete was not that far behind Mike, but he's got a 7-second lead, 24 seconds, and closing on the leader, Chris Herrera. So Mike has got to be feeling pretty dang good about his position right now. Jeff Snavely and Joshua Dancy both duck into pit road, as you can tell on the timing timer there. So yeah, once again, this is just going to be a an extremely varied pit strategy from all of the drivers. So we're just going to have to wait and see how this all kind of shakes out. The top 7 drivers now have not pit. Mike Bowers is your leader on 2 pit stops being completed, and just keep your eye on that. Ooh, and Chris Herrera trying to make his way around Harrington Wilmer there. Keep your eye on Mike Bowers, the leader of the 2 stoppers. 23.5 seconds is the gap right now to Chris Herrera. Yeah,
Chris and Adam, Kyle, Jeffrey Decker, all just done 1 stop. Peter Nodwell, Max Guacamo, and Scott Bell, who are our top 7. And you've got Mike Bowers in 8th. Yeah, I think that he's now 22 seconds back from the leader, 22.6. So it's going to be really interesting as he slides the car around into the carousel. It's going to be interesting because, again, I mean, I'm looking at some of the stops. Like Scott Bell's stop was a 39.2 second stop. Both Wright and Reed had 38.4 second stops, but Peter Nodwell's stop was an 18 second stop, and Max Guacamo's was a 20 second stop. So, and that was on their first stop. So it's going to be interesting to see what they get to do this time, as the cars still continue to shuffle and shuffle and shuffle some more.
Well, we're now inside of 10 minutes remaining on the race, and we'll see if we got no.
As soon as that's
done, no, take that back. Kyle Reed dips in.
Into the bits. And so does Peter Nodwell.
Peter Nodwell.
So let's see how long their pit lane time is going to be. 18, 19, 20. And already Nodwell's on his way out. Total pit lane time of 24, 25 seconds, 26, 27. So he's still going to push 30, even though he just had a splash and dash. Wow. Still working his way out. It's 37 seconds. So wow, that was
Yeah, certainly not ideal.
But of course, ahead of him, Steve Dewar has only pit once.
Well,
Pete McNaughton.
but so by the way, Mike Bowers has taken off more than a second from the last time we checked in off of Chris Herrera there. So Chris Herrera really just maybe trying to get some of those bonus points there, but Mike Bowers just slowly eating into Chris's lead.
Yeah.
Oof.
I can't see Chris coming in the top. Well, the way they're running right now, it's 30 seconds. He's got a 24 gap. That's going to put him down behind Jeffrey Decker, possibly even behind Jeff Snavely. So coming out sort of 8th, 9th type position. So we'll see. As Max Guacamo does his second pit stop and comes out in 12th. So Herrera is leading from Adam Wright and Scott Bell, but like I say, they've all got to pit again. So
yeah, look at that. So basically, I mean, we've got some other people throughout the field, but your top 3 are the only ones who have not pit a second time yet. This will be an opportunity here. Let's see if Chris takes it. Nope, but Adam will.
Yep, Adam's in. And again, I mean, you know, the strategy is the longer you run, the less fuel you need to get to the end. So if he gets his fueling right, hopefully he can just do a splash and dash and be out of there as he cruises along at 40 miles an hour or 38 miles an hour to his pit box, slams on the brakes. Oh, he overshot it, had to back up a little bit. So that's going to add some more time. And Scott Bell's also, and he's on his way out. He's just getting himself up to speed, going around the final corner and pit exit now. And he comes out in 9th. Adam, where am I? He comes out in 3rd, it looks like to me. Is that right?
Yeah, he's right behind Mike Bowers.
Yeah, he comes out in 3rd place. That was nicely done.
And these guys are now inside of 22 seconds from Chris Herrera. So it seems like every single lap, Chris is losing time.
Yeah.
Both Adam and Mike Bowers with fantastic pit stops here because that's going to leave Adam within striking distance, and that's going to be basically it because, I mean, you've got another 2 seconds back to Kyler Reed.
So in the pits. So he wasn't going to go for a one-stopper. He's now in the pits, trundling. It must feel so slow. You work your way down to your pit box.
You can already see Mike Bowers and Adam right there.
So he's in 2nd.
Yeah.
As he's leaving now, where is 3rd place? Looks like they're going to have to push really hard.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. He's going to come out in front? There's no way. Oh, and he's going to come off a little bit. Ooh, that's going to be interesting.
Chris Herrera came out in 1st. Look at that.
That's going to be... You can see Mike Bowers kind of lock up the brakes there a little bit. I'm wondering what he's going to think about that, but that's an issue for the stewards later. For the moment, Chris Herrera just rocking that pit stop, and Mike Bowers, Adam Wright. This is the podium right here. And okay, so I'm gonna go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Chris said I think I cut you off there, and I'm gonna give him the spot and try to earn it back.
Yeah. He's let both Adam and Mike Bowers by.
Yeah.
Dropped himself down in 3rd.
I don't know that that's exactly what happened, but I mean, I want to go back here maybe and we'll ride along board here with Mike Bowers for Chris Herrera's pit exit. No, I don't know. I disagree. Okay, I'll take that back. Apologies to team running on empty. I don't think there was anything there, but Chris obviously happy to shuffle back into third place. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
As the clock ticks down to 41 and a half minutes, so just 4.5 minutes left of racing.
Just a couple more laps, and Mike Bowers, Adam Wright, Chris Herrera, you're voting right now. But Kyle Reed, we mentioned it was about 2 seconds back. He's taken off just a little bit of time, carrying Jeffrey Decker with him. And they're going to hope to gain a little bit more time there. Michael Howanick has Scott Bell looming large in the rearview mirror with Max DiGiacomo waiting in the wings. Carl Dronke has Aaron Law, and Benjamin Harris just kind of hanging on and looking to make the move there. Gurkin Demir in this battle for 18th has Steve Dewar and JR Hoops. And Edwin Viorino's got Jonathan Dockery here hanging close. Ex-teammates from a couple seasons ago. Sean Trediak and Dan Pegowski doing battle for P26. And, well, actually, Dan Pegowski for Rusty Pondberg. This is the closer battle here for 27th position. Then Brian Perez has got Charlie McCarty. And these guys are fighting hard for that 28th position. Those are your closest battles throughout the field as we tick down inside of 2 minutes remaining. Just a couple more laps to go. I mean, look at this back here, though. Steve Dewar, Scott Bell. I'm sorry, not Steve Dewar. Max DiGiacomo, Steve Bell. The blue. It's the blue. I've been up on the blue paint scheme, yeah. Scott Bell, Max DiGiacomo, Michael Howanick having a fantastic battle here for that 10th position. Everybody wants that top 10, right, Ian?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And you'll push hard for it. You know, there is something to be said for being able to say, hey, I came in the top 10. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and we say it time and time again, this is not an easy league at the top of the end, you know, the sharp and pointy part. Those guys, the guys that are racing up there are fast. Clean but fast, and to be anywhere in that sort of exalted company, I think is kudos. It's good kudos.
So I'm not sure. We're at 117 on the lap times. I don't know if we crossed the. I'm not getting the white flag indication, but I feel.
Are you feeling like you should be pulling up the start finish line camera?
Yeah, I don't know if we're there.
Adam Wright is still pushing really hard in the back of Mike Bowers to see if he can get that place, but I don't know. This track is hard to pass on.
Well, we're gonna treat this like this is the white flag lap, just because I don't know any freaking better. I don't know that this isn't the final lap. So Mike Bowers, Adam Wright really pushing hard there. You can see him just trying anything he can, but this is just an impossible track to pass on. I don't think he's going to get there. And we're going to pass. We're going to have one more lap to go. So this is it. This is going to be Adam Wright's final opportunity to take the victory out of Mike Bowers' clutches, who has been there the entire time.
So close.
I mean, he's right there.
He did a 1:16.957.
Right there.
So let's see. Are they going to go too wide into this now? They will.
Yeah, he will. He's going to make the move.
Out of the draft. He's taking it on the inside, and they go into the corner too wide. His wheels are in front.
We saw this last season.
Can he do the over-under?
They wrecked in the S's.
Oh, just not quite close enough.
Adam with a heartbreak there. He's got a couple more turns to try to make the move, but he smartly backed out.
He's getting closer again. And Herrera can smell some sort of shenanigan-y things going on, and he's looking to see if he can get in there as well. Yeah, and they're closing up. They're going to be going through the carousel pretty tight. It's all going to depend on the exit from the carousel here. Can he get inside? Hit the No, he's just going to be a bit
Don't
too
think
far.
he's going to have enough there. Mike Bowers with the victory. Adam Wright, Chris Herrera with the podium. Fantastic job by all drivers. Jeffrey Decker, Kyle Reed, Jeff Snavely, Pete O'Brien, Joshua Dancy, Peter Nodwell. Look at this. Max Giacomo and Scott Bell coming around the final curve. Can Scott Bell make a move here in the final couple of feet? No, that's going to be Max's spot. Aaron Law and Benjamin Harris also locked in battle there. Nothing happening. It's going to be Matt Shepka in 14th spot with Gurkin Demir making it across the line just barely. Thomas Photos, Air Hoops, Jonathan Dockery, Edwin Virino, Michael McLeod, Rafael Bofil, Michael Howanick trying to make his way past Rafa, but no cigar. Andrew Cole, Sean Trediak, Dan Pegowski, Rusty Pottenberg. Great finishes there. Charlie McCarty, Brian Perez. Peter Lee is going to finish there in 30th position, up one spot. Jeff Torbeck, Carrington Wilmer, and Carl Dronke. What a race. Holy cow.
That was good fun. That was good fun. I'm tired now.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say. That's
Well, I mean, I don't know.
What happened to Carl?
What is there to say that we haven't already said?
I don't know.
Amazing to see Carl qualify. What, you didn't expect Carl to qualify?
Steve
could be.
And did Carl run out of fuel?
I don't know. Did he cross the line? It looks like. Oh yeah, no, he's getting pushed. He's getting bumped by.
Yeah.
Droki's out of gas. Yeah, they're trying to bump draft him up.
Is he out of gas? Is that what happened?
Looks that way. He's pushing him. Is he going to be able to get him over the line? He's shoving him along. Yeah, they're getting going. Getting a couple of miles an hour there.
We're gonna get him there.
Keep it going. There we go.
You can see Steve and Carl talking.
Yeah. Has Carl got enough rolling?
Look at that. Look at that. Look at the timing tower. Carl still has not crossed the finish line. Let's see if we can get him that checkered flag. He will take it.
He will. He will take it about 4 miles an hour. 4 miles an hour. It's another little bump there. Over he goes.
Oh, man.
Well,
congratulations to Mike Bowers on the win. Adam Wright, second place. Chris Herrera will take home the final podium position with Jeffrey Decker and Kyle Reed finishing out your top 5. And I feel like we already went through everybody, so we will we'll scroll through as we wait for some folks to join in on the fun in the Discord interview channel. We'll roll through the results. Some pretty awesome finishes from people. Some great racing. Some heartbreak, I'm sure, but at the end of the day, that was a lot of fun to watch. We do have a taker already. Holy cow, that's might be a record for us here. Jeffrey Decker, who ended up finishing 4th position overall. Man, we were watching you. You kind of were hanging out, and you poked your head in there a little bit, and the pit strategy kind of played a factor. So I mean,
hey, buddy.
Yeah, fourth position at the end of the race is fantastic. This racetrack looked hard to pass at. Is that accurate? I mean, we saw a lot of people, attempting it, but it looked like most of the attempts to pass were on pit road.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty impossible to pass here. I think you really have to count on someone making a mistake, either a defensive mistake and choosing the wrong line, or having a bobble or going off track or something like that. You really can't do it if you have very, very, very similar speed. So like you saw at the end, like Kyle and I, I was just peeking everywhere, but I couldn't get around Kyle. He had enough pace just to keep me behind most of it. But then I think he just chose the wrong line, kind of in that last set of corners. But yeah, I mean, it's tough, especially if you're in a train like that. You kind of have to depend here on making it happen in the pit stops. And I think I did pretty well on that on the first one. I jumped 2 positions, but yeah, just unfortunately in that second stint, we had a little contact, and that put me on the back foot for that last stint.
Well, it was a lot of fun to watch you all racing, and you gave us some great excitement.
Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah, they're just Mike was doing such a good job up front, just choosing the right line every time, not really giving us a chance to at any opening. Even when he had like a couple slides here and there, he recovered really well, and I think he still ended up getting the win. So yeah, definitely a big congrats to him. It was a well deserved win off of a pole. So yeah, super proud of Mike tonight.
Nice one, mate.
Yeah, but yeah, hopefully it was exciting for you as it was for us. It's always fun being on like the gearbox of someone else for an entire race, essentially.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
as frustrating as it probably was for a lot of drivers tonight, it definitely was a new dynamic. I mean, especially coming off a Red Bull, right? Well, it was just this is a completely different feel for the track, and uh, very technical, I want to say slow. That's not the word I'm looking for, but to your point, it felt like you either were waiting for somebody to make a mistake, or hopefully you out strategize the other person, and that's what it came down to. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what ultimately what people thought of it, but you put on a show for us tonight, and we appreciate that. Anybody that you want to say hi to before we let you go?
Nah, just always I guess a big shout out to my wife for letting me do these
Whoop
things,
whoop.
and you guys for doing the broadcast. My typical shout outs.
Yeah,
And cheers to anyone watching the broadcast as well. Thank you for
we got a
hanging out
couple
with
people
us
watching,
and
surprisingly.
liking our weird little Skippy League.
It is weird. It is awesome, but thank you very much for the value added that you add to it, man. That's awesome. Thank you to your wife for watching. Hopefully, we watched you enough tonight to make it worthwhile for her. I've, you put on a heck of a show, and fourth place. We will see you. Oh no, I do this every single time. Every single time. Where are we going next week?
I think it's Snetterton, right?
Oh, is it Snetterton, the 300?
I think so. I think so. I'm pretty
Okay.
excited for that one.
Okay, so we did that for week 13. For those of you who are not aware, we did that Skippy and Formula V multi-class for our kind of off-week fun race, and that was, to me, that was a great track. I think it's probably going to frustrate some people. It seems like in the Skippy itself, it's a little. There could be some draft considerations, which some people like, some people
no.
don't.
Draft
But
considerations, really?
but we will see.
No,
Anyway.
Snap is a lot of fun. It's a good fun track, is Snapton.
Yeah, it's nice and technical. A couple more straights though, so some better passing opportunities, I think for sure.
Perfect. We like passing. All right, man. Well, congratulations once again, and we will see you soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys. See you soon.
Cheers.
Take care, buddy. Bye.
Let's bring in Jonathan Dockery here, who we focused on quite a bit, actually. He had some pretty good battles and some close racing. And, probably not the ultimate finish you wanted, but this was a tough track, man. Talk to us about it.
Not my kind of track.
Mm,
So, historically technical, undrafted. Because this track I don't consider this a draft track at all. I mean, there's like 1 or 2 spots you can draft, but for the most part, you're not. The drafts aren't big enough that you're passing tons of people every lap.
right.
Like, if you're 4/10 to half a second coming onto the straightaways, you're probably not close enough to make that pass without the dive bomb. So these kind of tracks, historically, I'm not good at. They're not Watkins Glen, right? So coming in, me and Carl worked on some qualifying stuff, and I talked with Leo quite a bit. And qualifying was getting better, and my pace was fairly good here, I thought, all week. But then we come into practice and I'm 16th on the board, and it's like, holy crap. And don't ask me where that qualifying lap came from, because that is 4.7 tenths better than I had done all week long.
Holy cow.
I don't know where it came from, but it's like at Sonoma, one lap wonder. But yeah, overall the race was pretty fun. So I guess Carl ran out of fuel, I hear. I'm not sure what happened to Edwin, but what I qualified 10th, I think. And at one time I was racing 9th and 10th with Pete. That was a lot of fun. But then I got punted. So that kind of set me back, and had a pretty good battle with Steve Durr when he came out of the pit. But me and Steve have practiced a lot together in the past, so it was like, if there's one guy that's in SNS that I can absolutely trust to fight side by side and not bump and bang with, it's Steve. So, and like I said, we do that all the time. Like nearly every week, we used to practice going around the track side by side just so we knew how. But it was pretty fun.
Awesome.
Nice
I
one,
really
mate.
wasn't. I really wasn't expecting to qual top 10.
Well,
It's been,
congratulations on that. I mean, you must,
yeah,
you got it. What you got what you needed, right? So that was really good.
I don't know if whenever I got punted and I went left to clear the track, that was the intention. Wasn't anything to do with who punted me or none of that. My immediately thought was, I'm 10th. We're punted. I do not want to be in the track and wreck the entire field. So
No.
left off the track, but me and Hallowick hit again. It was not anything else on my part. So, but I went straight to the pit after that. It was what it was. But after the second set of pit stops, I got behind Valerino, and I don't know if he got a slowdown or what happened, but I did end up beating him and Carl. So it's one thing to take away. It's no matter the circumstances, finishing ahead of those two guys. But it was a fun race.
Yeah, it's
I
fun
don't
to watch.
think probably top 12 if I hadn't got punted. But qualifying was a lot of. At least I know now that I'm starting to get where I can actually qualify and I can race with those guys, because this time last year coming out of the pits, being within draft distance of Edwin, I'm not even staying with Edwin anywhere. So, and I actually got within 3/10 of him, but didn't really see the sense in racing him for 23rd and taking a chance on getting myself in trouble with the penalty. So I just kind of followed, and it was all right.
Cool, man.
But I appreciate all you guys do, and I think y'all got some more people in the waiting room, so I will bounce out of your hair. But
Awesome, man.
I
Well, it
hop
was a
in
lot
and
of
say,
fun. Yeah, go ahead.
wanted to hop in and say thanks for the broadcast and all you all do. We really appreciate it.
Well, it
But
was a
I'll
lot of
bounce.
fun watching you race. I know, like I said earlier, it's obviously it doesn't always go exactly the way you want it, but look back, man, we got you doing some really close racing, and it was just, hopefully it was a lot of fun outside of all that. So looking forward to seeing how next week goes, and thanks always for dropping in and giving the thanks, because I know you always do, and you're very it's very constant, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah.
I think the rule is actually the top 3 or top 5 are supposed to come interview.
No, we don't really have to, we don't do that here. This is, broadcast for the league, by the league, and all that. So that's what makes us different. For those of you who are watching maybe for the first time or don't know, this is not like we're just league members. We just do this for fun. We're not paid. We don't do any of that.
Yeah, that's like one of the things I really enjoy is going back and watching the broadcast throughout the week, because the viewers at home and whoever's watching gets to see it, but for us, we don't get to see all the cool battles that you all
Yeah,
watch, right?
and I think that gets lost on some people. Like you just don't have that situational awareness when you're in the race. I was reminded of that when I did last week's SF2 race, because
Yeah, that's the question. When are you going to race again?
I don't know, man, but that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it.
Why is Ian in the booth and not on the track? Like, I understand that he's a
All good
awesome
questions.
broadcaster, but
All
too.
good
Yeah,
questions. All valid questions.
I'm in the booth because I've been working too hard and not had any time to do any practice. Carl Dronke's just about completely given up on me. So
We've been wondering on, like, so Carl is working with this season. Everybody knows that, but he's also working with Ian, and it's Tuesday nights, and Ian's been kind of like, I don't know, not here for this little bit.
I've been
So.
more missed than hit. Let me tell you.
But all right, guys, thanks for all you do, and I will see y'all next week at Snitterton. I have to buy and learn. So
Do it. Yeah,
All right,
it's gonna be a
man.
lot of fun. I think you might enjoy it. It's definitely more long. There's some more long straights and all that stuff. So it's definitely more Watkins-y than.
Yay!
It is,
I've never seen it, so I don't think I have it. I'll have to check, but I
Oh,
don't.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's very Watkinsy.
I was pleasantly surprised when we did it at week 13. Snetterton, it doesn't roll off the tongue very well, but it races pretty fun. So,
I mean, like I said, I proved tonight that I can run with like some of the, so like Scott Bell, Pete Broughton, Edwin Valerino, and Edwin at the end couldn't. He was ahead of me, of course, but he couldn't get away. Like he didn't get me until I decided to back off and not take a chance on getting a point. So I don't care about Snitterton. It'll be what it'll be. But Imola is where I really want to race what we do. But like I said, you got guys waiting, so I'll quit taking up your time.
awesome, man. Well, have a good one, and we will see you next week. Take care of yourself.
Sir, you too.
Bye now.
Jonathan Dockery joining us once again. We really appreciate his support, man. That's awesome. I love it when he comes in. And we should say Spartan Racing, if you guys are looking for a good learning experience in the Skippy, or you're just racing in general, road racing, give Jonathan Dockery a DM. He can get you hooked up. They've got a great team over there at Spartan Racing that can help you out and learn a thing or two about how to do what they do. Speaking of somebody who I'd like to know how they do what they do, Mike Bowers joining us here, ran a fairly flawless race. I'm not gonna say flawless because that would be too much, but a pretty dang good race. Oh, ain't he gone? I think he got offended. He got offended by that. He did not like the fact that I said it wasn't flawless. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Back. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't pull me in. I always have to jump out and try to get back in.
Well, either way, man. Hey, you won. You won a race that was dang near impossible to pass. You won a race that depended a lot on field strategy. You won a race that depended a lot on technical capability. So it's got to feel pretty dang good. What's your secret, and how can we learn it and win at Mid-Ohio?
Well, I love Mid-Ohio, and it's one of those places that I feel I'm pretty confident at, and I can run about 3 lines in every corner and still be quick and all that. In fact, I was probably driving Adam crazy a little bit because I kind of purposely didn't take the exact same lines every lap. I'd switch it up a little bit, and because here, if you're too predictable, somebody can get a nose in there and get by you. And I'm kind of mad. I'm Chris, I know he felt bad for getting into Jeffrey and him getting into me, but I wanted to race hard.
So I think we may have missed something. I wanted to ask you about, and you don't have to answer. I know it's live. We haven't looked at replays or anything like that. So on initial glance, we saw you kind of on the replay. It looked like you locked up a little bit. So after the second pit stop here, right? That's what I'm getting at. And yeah, Chris was out there. It looks like he almost let off and let you guys by. And I thought that was maybe because he thought that he cut you off on pit exit, but it didn't look that bad. But clearly there was something else going on prior to that.
Yeah, I think what happened. So like you said, it's stupid hard to pass here. So turn one, you can get a run, and if you get somebody that's almost brain dead, you can kind of get them into turn two. In this group, you're not going to get anybody into
Sure,
turn
sure.
two. It's just not going to happen. I mean, I was just telling Jeffrey, I worked all week to make sure the tight line was a fast line for me, because if you cover that tight line, nobody's going to get by you because you get an exit and everything off the
Right.
corner. And I was a little wide on that entry there, and I think Jeffrey, checked up a little bit, and Chris apparently Chris got Jeffrey, Jeffrey got me.
One of those
So
things that happen sometimes.
yeah, and I think he felt bad for that, and that's why he lifted and let by. And I was really sloppy the next couple laps because I was mad. I mean, okay, so we hit each other, but race me. And I appreciate Chris. He's a nice guy and doing that and everything, but I want to be raced hard. Now, on the other hand, I think if I don't get hit, I can still win the race, but I don't know. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, you know what I mean?
I do.
Well, either
Well,
way,
but it's
man,
fun.
it was a really well executed race at the end of the day, and clearly it took a lot. I mean, there's a lot of drivers here who had every. Oh boy, yeah. Sorry, we're just seeing the replay there. I don't. There's net code. I don't know. We'll
Yeah, it looked
we'll
like
figure that
net
out
code
later.
on
It's not-
mine too.
Yeah, we'll figure that out later. That wasn't the point of what I was trying to get at here. And either way, at the end of the day, that looked like you were still able to pull it out, and on a track that demanded nothing but perfection. So congratulations on that. You like Mid-Ohio. This configuration is one that I haven't raced before. Do you what was the difference, do you think, between last season and this season with leaving out that big, basically long horseshoe, turn? What is it? Traditionally turn two. Like what was the difference there? Did it just make it more technical in short, or because those are two very long straights and one very large braking zone?
Yeah. Mid-Ohio is always hard to pass on. Even in the long configuration, you can get a pretty good run down there, get on the inside. But if you're really good through that little corkscrew area, you can hold somebody off. Is like you probably saw when Adam was trying to get around me there. I let him have the inside because, I mean, it's just really, it's not that hard to hold somebody off there if you're careful. So, but it is the place to pass in the long configuration. And me personally, the tighter and more technical the tracks get, the better I like them. I mean,
Gotcha.
I don't like the draft game. I like to run all out pace. This one you had to save a lot of fuel. I was saving fuel from the front like mad. And I had practiced all week on how to make lap time and save fuel. So, because I knew it was going to be a deal. And I was a little shocked I actually held the lead after the pit stop, but I guess I did my job for once. But no, I like the short tracks, and I like this one. Now the problem is though, is you got to put on your patience hat. Unless somebody makes a mistake, you're really not going to get around them. It's very, very difficult to pass. And I had to change my underwear real quick after I got the pole. I was a little surprised on that one.
Well, man, I'll tell you what, first to first, fantastic job. We're going to go to Snetterton next week, which is, I guess, in my opinion, a very, almost completely different track.
Yeah.
My only experience with it, we've talked about this before. Sorry for the viewers to keep rehashing this, but we did it week 13, right, with the Skippies in Formula V. It was a very fun track, but clearly it's a lot more wide open, a lot longer straights, all that, etc. So, going into next week, it doesn't seem, based on what you just said, it doesn't seem like your natural type of track. So how do you adjust for those?
Well, I have to race different than I don't like the draft games and all that kind of stuff because I almost feel dirty doing it. And I'll be honest. That's why I was never good in the cup cars at Daytona and stuff like that. And I don't know, it almost feels like there's some freebies, but I'm okay at them, like I'm decent at Amola and stuff like that. And I'm learning to be a little more aggressive at those. Now I don't remember Snetterton. I know I've driven it, and it'll probably, I haven't driven it a lot. I think I just bought the track this season when they were practicing the V's on it, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it'll be all right. I'll figure it out. I usually do okay, at figuring out new tracks and race fairly well. But I don't know. I'll take a swing at it. If I don't get hit, I think I can finish okay. And even though I got hit tonight, I still finished okay. But most of the races this season, I've kind of gotten hit a lot. So anyway, what do you say?
Neither here nor there, I suppose. Yeah, we'll let the. I'm sure that'll be a discussion for the score. I think that. I won't bring. You know what? I'm gonna let you go, so I don't even bring you into this. But any final shout out? I'm gonna go on a soapbox in a little bit here. I'm not gonna drag anybody else into it, but anybody else who wants to say hi to before we let you go?
No, thanks to the league and you of course for doing all these broadcasts. It makes it super fun to go watch back and see how sloppy I am and all those kind of things. But the league is good, and it's like Chris. He felt bad about wrecking, and that's just kind of the gentleman thing that we've got going on in the league. Nobody wants to win dirty. Nobody wants to win cheap, and I think that's promoted a lot. From the stewarding, and I know there's a ton of effort that goes into all this. I've helped with stewarding. I haven't done that much, but man, those guys work their butt off. And I know you do, and Ian and Jason and everybody. So I just thank you to how it's done and how it's put together, and it's well appreciated.
Well, it means a lot, man. All right, Mike Bowers, your race winner there. Have a great night.
Yeah, and there is a shout out. Adam is flying lately, and he is he's on the radar as you got to beat this guy to win a race. He is stupid fast.
I thought he might have had you there once or twice. You did really well. You had to execute there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and he had me sweating bullets the whole time trying to save fuel from the front and everything. But I do have to say, Adam has turned it up. Jeffrey, Chris, and everybody in the league. But Adam's really just hip fire. So it's stupid. It's silly cool. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. Well, let's not give him too big a head. But no, it's good. No, he's doing really he clearly is one of those guys who is a threat any given week. I don't know if underdog's the right word anymore.
No,
but certainly
no, not anymore.
Right. I don't know what the right word is, but clearly he could win any given week, but he doesn't doesn't win every week, but he very well could. I don't know what that word is, but he's there. He's there. Close. Yeah, he's absolutely always in the discussion. So.
Yep, he's due. But anyway, you've had me too long. Fire me.
Yeah. All right. See ya.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
And there goes Mike. So, Ian, man, what a great race. There's been a lot of discussion in the, and the stewards, league admin, all that stuff. This race seemed a lot better. I was super happy to see it. Let's just put it that way, because I feel like there's a lot of frustration out there about just treating each other with respect and respecting each other's time. Practice races, league races, all that stuff. I think that a lot of people put a lot of time and hard work and effort into doing these, and you get dang near 40 drivers every week coming out and wanting to put in the effort to prepare and do all that. A lot of people, when you think about it, they get an iRacing subscription. They don't sign up thinking, I'm going to join Sunday Night Skippy and race the league. But that's ultimately, I know it's shocking to hear, but at the end of the day, right now we've got a lot of people who do that. The public races, what you normally would consider as your primary benefit of an iRacing subscription, those are secondary to coming out Sunday night and racing. So just that league mentality, the respect given to one another, a little bit lacking, I think, over the past few weeks. But this race, I don't know. We'll see. We missed some stuff. I'm sure we did. But it was refreshing to see some good sportsmanship out there for the examples that we did catch. And
I think that as the races get better,
Mm.
And as the field gets tighter, the racing is going to get harder.
Yep.
They're
That's
going to
fair.
race each other harder. And one of the
That's fair.
problems we're going to have that we're just not going to get past is how close is too close when you're dealing with net code.
Right, because that's the other thing you got to remember. At the end of the day, we're
Yeah.
across the world, Ian. The world. We're not even like across the county, state, country. No, the world. We are racing coast to coast, hemisphere to hemisphere, and there's gonna be some implied risk with some of that stuff, right?
Yeah. And so as everybody's getting quicker and better, and they're trying to race closer and trying to take advantage of these little teeny tiny mistakes that folks make,
Yeah.
netcode is going to become a bigger and bigger issue for us.
Yeah.
Because how do you manage? You can't even. There's no way of knowing in your experience. I guess is going to give you a bit of information, but you never really know when you're too close for netcode or not. You could be following someone at the same distance, and then all of a sudden you'll hit them, but you wouldn't have changed distance. It's just the netcode's got you. So that's something that we're going to have to look out for, and I don't think there's really a solution to it. But I agree. I think that we've had some sloppy-ish races, but I think that generally speaking, the folks that are in the league want to race clean, want to race and have fun,
Yep.
and are not looking to do things wrong. It's just as we change people, as new folks come in, as the league grows, it's you go through these points where this happens, and we come out and we get a whole bunch of clean races, and then we'll go in and we'll start getting a couple of ones that are a bit ish, and I think that's just a part of the process we're gonna have to go through.
Well, I think, like I said, once again, I'm sure we may miss some stuff and I could be completely off on this, but considering how tight, technical, non-passy, I don't know what the right word is, this track was, the lack of, at least off tracks, crashes, that you would use to, see, I feel like it was pretty good. So we'll see that, but yeah, the other shout out that I want to give is to the stewards, who I think I think that everybody who, and there's been some folks, many, so anybody who's listening to this and is like, oh, that he's talking about me, I guarantee you I'm not, because there's been quite a few folks recently who've gotten an inside scoop as to the how the stewards deliberate, how much they deliberate, how much they disagree with each other, how little consensus there is, and however all the decisions were made on the safety scores and all that. Shout out to those guys, because they put in a lot of hours that we don't pay them for, in order to be able to do that and try to keep things as clean as possible, and everybody as happy as possible. Not as happy as possible, but just keep the racing as clean and respectful as we can, and weed out the riffraff, which we don't have much of, but still you always got to keep an eye out because of the turnover. But just shout out to the stewards, and just the amount of work and effort and deliberation that they put in every day and every week.
Sure.
So,
well, let's just say, I'm going to say right now, the stewards have already started working on this race.
They're already at work. I see the Discord channels blowing up as well, and they're no rest for the weary. You get done with the race, and it's time to go. One last thing, I think that I'm trying to find it again because I clicked off of it. Kyle Reed summed it up pretty well. The field is definitely collapsing upwards in terms of pace. He put that in the Discord at 10:31 p.m. 4 minutes ago, and I think that does it. That describes what we're dealing with really well. The field is collapsing upwards, sure. And it's great it's great for us. But yeah, man. Thank you very much, Ian, for joining me in the broadcast booth tonight. I really appreciate when you are able to do that. Of course, we like to see you race, but you know, you add just you're the perspective, obviously the wit. Don't get a big head, but the wit, the jokes, all that stuff, like it just, I don't know, it just makes it so much more fun and enjoyable for me personally. I don't know about everybody else. I don't know about you, but selfishly, I will say thank you for coming and hanging out.
Oh, my pleasure. I enjoy doing it. It's horrible because I love doing this and I like the racing too.
Yeah.
But I just right now I just don't have the time for the racing, so
Yeah.
we'll probably be doing this a bit more.
Yeah.
So there you go. What I am looking for though is someone to come join me on a Saturday morning for the Formula V.
Yeah, I know.
So,
and
anybody
it's funny.
that might be interested.
So I will say that I'm interested. I'm not going to commit to anything because, well, work for us, like weekend work. Both my beautiful wife Megan and I are going to be working weekends here for quite a while as we ramp up for something unimportant to the broadcast here. But following that, I would love to race / call some V races with you, because that, I'll tell you what, that series, I was able to do one race with those guys. Great camaraderie, very SF2 like, great atmosphere. Love watching your streams of it anyway, just by yourself. Adding more to that, I think, I mean, that's gold right there. I think those guys, the whole package is just a really great thing. It's a needs more attention, needs more drivers, because I think that if you're not watching, if you're not driving, if you're not being involved with that Formula V Saturday morning race, then you're missing out.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a huge amount of fun to call, and the guys that are running in it are having so much fun that I almost want to be driving and calling it at the same time, which is completely impossible, but one would love to do it.
It would definitely, yeah, that would up the difficulty a little.
No, just no, not going to happen.
All right, man. Well, it's time to go to bed.
Working with you tonight. It's been a lot of fun. This has been a 2.5 hour broadcast. We still haven't done our bloody podcast.
Marathon. I know. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest. Let's do a podcast, but it's going to be October at this rate, because I'm telling you, man, the rest of August and September,
just done for you.
Yeah, no.
All right, no worries.
Yep. Yeah,
we'll
so
see if we can put something together, and we'll definitely do one in October.
This winter, I think, is going to be the winter of podcasts, though. I think we can really ramp up the frequency and quality.
Let's see what we can do.
All right.
But but I think by the time we get ready to do our next podcast, your youngest is going to be about 22.
That's right. Yeah, maybe she can join us.
There you go. Like that.
All right, man.
All right. I got to go to bed. It's late.
Exactly.
I got to go work for that guy. You know,
some
that
of us
guy.
have to work in the morning. Yeah.
So
we'll see you around.
will talk to you later, guys. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you did. Let us know what we can do better. Answers on a postcard.
Indeed. In the meantime, we'll see you next week at Snetterton Sunday night. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care of each other. And we'll see you in about 7 days. Peace out.
Good night.